Hey guys, it's Ginger. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my nails because, well, as you can see, they desperately need to be done. So yeah, let's just do some fun nail art. I haven't done a video like this in a while. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna put on, but it's gonna start with a soak off. So I'm gonna kind of go through all the steps of everything that I'm doing just to kind of help any newbies that might be watching on what to do. So what I currently have on is the Gel X system from Apres. There are lots of Gel X type systems out there now. Almost every brand has a soft gel extension type of thing. So I know like Cure Sky, you got like Jellyfit, just all kinds of different Gel X-ish. And I think Gel X is kind of going to become like the name, the generic name of it, like how Kleenex is like a tissue and Band-Aid is like a brand name. So I think Gel X is like a brand name that's going to become like the standard for this type of service. But anyways, I have the Apres Gel X. I have not tried any other kind or brand of soft gel extension, but I do have the Young Nails full cover tips. I've used those for press-ons. I've also used those for Gel X, and I've touched on this a little bit before. Some full cover nail tips are not made for like the gel, and some gel tips are not made for press-ons. So what I mean by this is like the way that the Gel X are formed, especially the sculpted. The natural ones are a little bit more flat, but the sculpted ones have a bit more of an arch in them. And if you have a tip like that, it's not going to be a good press-on nail. Now, some of them that fit really flat against your nail, that would make for a good press-on. So like not all tips are created equal, and you can use some for press-ons, some only for Gel X, and some for both. So you really got to pay attention to your tip. So let's go ahead and get started. So to remove this, I'm going to use kind of a coarse bit. Now, if a coarser bit like this kind of scares you, I believe this is like a double or triple X coarse bit. This is also like a Gel X bit. This one's maybe like a double coarse. This is a triple coarse. I believe this is the same as this one here. I believe it is a triple course. So if that kind of scares you a little bit, you can use something like a safety bit like this. And this is a coarse. And then this one is a medium. And I don't have any of these labeled. I just know what they are from just using them so often. But you definitely want at least a coarse. A medium, it's going to take you forever and a day. So a coarse one like this will work if a aggressive bit like this kind of scares you. But to remove your Gel X, you're going to want a somewhat coarse carbide bit. Shape doesn't always matter. Like you can use safety bit, you can use a tornado bit. So I'm going to use the more coarse one to remove. I'm just going to put that into my e-file here. And I'm going to go at a fairly high speed. So this one's really hard to see with my light. So this is a 35,000 RPM e-file. And you can see it says 35 right there. That means it's at full speed. With a coarser bit, you really want to let the bit do the work for you. So you want it at a higher speed. You don't want to have it at like 10 or 15. You really want it to be like at least 30. And then you're going to make sure you're in the forward motion. If you were doing this on a client, it would look something like this. And you want to let the bit, like I said, do the work for you. And you don't want to put a lot of pressure onto the nail. You're just going to glide it across and let that coarse bit do the work for you. So you're going to notice that polish come off fairly quickly. Okay, and now you can see my natural nail right under there, and you can see a little bit of the extend gel just as extended slightly past my natural nail. And then the rest of this part right here, that is the gel tip. I'm going to file that back to my natural nail because we are going to be soaking these off, and there's no need to have extra bits that we need to soak off if we can just, you know, get rid of it real quick and easy. So I'm just going to take it across like that. And I want to try to keep the natural nail length of my nails. I may just end up with a gel polish on here, you guys, because they are grown out quite a bit, and it might be just good enough to put some gel polish on and call it a day, but we'll see. I don't have any real plans of what I'm gonna do. Okay, so once I've gotten it like this, most of the free edge, I'm going to reposition. And I'm gonna go across like so. Now you want to be especially careful with your carbide bits not to touch the natural nail with them. They are meant to remove bulk and material. They are not meant to be used on the natural nail. So you can see when I go to do my sidewalls, and I do this on my clients as well, I'll grab their skin on the side and I'll pull it back out of the way. You definitely don't want to catch that. Some people's sidewalls are a bit more pronounced, I guess, and closer to their sidewall. So you just want to make sure you're getting that out of the way as best you can. And we're just going to get this polish off. We're going to make sure we don't hit the natural nail. If you feel like you're really close to the natural nail, you can leave that little bit right there. And then when we go in, we'll go ahead and soak off. It'll take care of that for the most part. But if you feel like you want to leave even more and you're a little scared, you can go in with a sanding band and hit the rest of that. And that's what you would do if you were doing a backfill. You would take your sanding band and you would blend your product in with your natural nail before you did your backfill. But this is a Gel X. It does need to be soaked off. It's not really meant to be backfilled. You can, but as hard as I am on my nails, it needs to be taken off and have something fresh put on. And there is a possibility I have some product underneath of the Gel X from a previous luminary application I had on. Also not a big deal. I may get that soaked off, I may not. So when you've gotten up to this point, you've gotten all of your like polish and your design off, and you just have your gel tip on, and then there's gel under that tip. You can file just a little bit more. If you're scared you're getting too close to the natural nail, don't worry about it. Just go ahead, move on to your next finger, and then you can wrap it up and soak it. The more product you get off, the faster your soak off removal will be. But like I said, if you're worried about hitting that natural nail, you're better safe than sorry. Just move on to the next nail, wrap that with foil and acetone, and just let the acetone do the rest of that work for you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the rest of this, and then I'll come back to you right before I put the foil on. Okay, so I am also doing my other hand at the same time. I made a New Year's resolution, you guys, to always have my nails done. It is the middle of April and I'm still doing it. I'm so excited. So I've always had them, something on them, at least gel polish or something. So no naked nails all year long. We'll see if I can get there, but hey, I'm doing good so far. But so since I am doing my other hand, it's a lot harder for me to hold the file correctly. So I'm switching out to the safety bit so I don't hurt myself with this one. But same thing with this. I'm still going in the forward motion direction, and mostly I'm holding the handpiece still with my left hand and using my right hand to move around. I find that works fairly well. And then if I need to, you know, I'll use this hand. Woo! And stuff like that happens and scares the crap out of me. But having that safety bit really ensures that you're not going to really hurt yourself. But I'm still at a high RPM speed, letting the bit do the work for me. This is where it gets tricky. I can't remember which way to go. Yeah, it's this way. Okay. Same thing. I'm taking off that extra bit of tip, and this bit also does a very good job with removal because it is a coarse, but it's just a safety bit. They're both carbide bits. One's just more aggressive than the other, and they're different shapes. So really it's tech preference. I encourage everybody to get different tips, different shapes, different grits, all of it, and work with it and see what works best for you. Some techs have preference of bits over other bits when both bit will do basically the same thing. So, you know, just get a safety bit, get a barrel bit, get, you know, different shape bits, and see what you like. I personally don't really like the football shape bits. I don't know, they just don't work well for me. So get what works for you, try them all out, but keep as a rule of thumb to know that carbide bits are for removing product in bulk and never to be used on the natural nail. Diamond bits are mainly for the natural nail. You can use them for shaping and refining, but you're gonna have a harder time using a diamond bit to remove bulk. So just as a rule of thumb. So I'm going to take this safety bit and continue on with removal on my right hand. Okay, so I went ahead and did my soak off on my right hand off camera, and I'm going to show you my left real quick. So what you're going to need is some foil remover wraps. If you don't have these, you can use foil, kitchen foil, and cotton balls works fine as well, but these are really awesome. They're cut to perfect size. They've got the little cotton square on the foil for you already. They're fairly inexpensive. I get these from Premier Nail Source, but you can get these also on Amazon. I think I actually got a pack from Amazon. Okay, I did. Had to grab them out of my drawer real quick. They came packaged like this. So I haven't used these ones yet, but these were fairly inexpensive. They were cheaper than these. These come in 100 count. I believe these run around $7 a pack. This was, I want to say 400. Yep, it was 400, and I'll have to look up the price. Can't remember, but I think it was close to about $7, $8 for 400 versus 100. So the price was cheaper. I prefer the little boxes rather than this. Let's see how these come. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they come packaged in 100, and I could probably transfer this into the box. The problem I have with it in a bag like this is they get wrinkled up if you don't have them stored somewhere nice and flat. Let's see how these are done here. Okay. So they're just a little bit smaller, as you can see here. The cotton pad is the same size, and you know, they're a little bit thinner, just a little. So not quite the quality of these, but I mean, they're not terrible. So let's go ahead and use them. So you want to use pure acetone, 100% acetone. Don't mess around with polish remover. That stuff will get you nowhere. Nowhere fast anyways. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to saturate your cotton pad with acetone, and I mean saturate it good. Place it on the nail, fold it over in half, fold it this way, and fold it this way. And you will give it a good squeeze. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. The foil is going to help hold the heat in, and the heat's going to help soak off quicker. You can also soak it in a bowl. I've seen girls do methods like having a bowl of hot water and then a bag inside the bowl, and then they put the acetone in the bag, and then you soak your hands in it, and the heat helps speed up the process tremendously. So that is also a good thing to do. I like doing it like this. I feel like I waste less acetone this way. But you know, to each their own. This works pretty good for me. I get it soaked off in about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's no problem at all. You're also going to need one of these little babies. This came from Madam Glam. They sell these also on Amazon. It's just a gel polish remover tool, if I could talk. You could also use an orange wood stick. It'll work as well. I have several of these. I use these on my clients because I can sanitize them, and I have a few, so gets me through the day. Yep, and then we're just gonna let this sit for at least 10 minutes, and then I'll check it. My other hand has a bit of a hard gel on it as well, so you'll see little bits here and there, but I just went ahead, removed everything, then I shortened and shaped them into just a nice little short round shape, which I think is what I'm going to do today, is just have a nice cute little short round manicure. We might just do gel polish. I'm still undecided, but I think I might have to put like a rubber base or something down to even these out, because like I said, I've got a bit of hard gel on there. I put some hard gel on this hand to try to keep my nails on, because the constant touching of acetone just like eats away at them, and they were lifting really bad all the time. So I did that a while back, so I still have just a little bit here and there, and it making the surface of my nail a bit uneven. So I'm possibly going to use either like a rubber base to give a little bit of a structure, or I might use my Young Nails, was it keratin something? I can't remember what it's called. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, it's the Young Nails Manicure Fiber Gel with keratin. So this is kind of like a thicker, structured manicure type of thing. You can do it in a thin coat. You can build it up. I like products like this a lot. I don't use this on my clients because I'm just so in love with Luminary. Luminary is what I use on like almost all of my clients. So, and I really like having it in the little pot like this and using a brush versus out of the bottle. Madam Glam is like this as well, where it's like the rubber base, it's in the bottle. You've got to use the bottle brush. Not my favorite way to apply it, but it's doable. So I'm just going to use this on myself because I don't use it on my clients. There's nothing wrong with it. It works really well. I just prefer using Luminary on my clients because that's what most of them have on right now. Okay, voiceover Ginger here because the shop got busy, so now I need to do a voiceover, which is okay. So I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. We're about halfway through. I know it's a bit of a long one. Thank you for sticking with me. If you are enjoying it, I would super appreciate a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. It's free. I would really appreciate it. So I have let my nails soak for about 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes, and I'm just going through with that little tool I showed you and gently scraping off all of the loose product. You want to be careful not to, apply a lot of pressure and not to tug at the gel if it's still really stuck to the finger. Feel free to wrap it up again. That's what I do if it's not all coming off. So I'll just put a little bit more acetone inside that foil wrap and pop it back on my finger and let it sit for a few more minutes. That tends to work really well. By the time I'm doing this on a client, by the time I've done the first hand and then I move to the second hand, any fingers that I had to rewrap are done by the time I'm done with the second hand. So it really doesn't take that long at all. Usually a Gel-X soak off takes anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes, 30 at the most if I'm having some stubborn fingers. I do have a client, she's got very cold hands, which makes it a little difficult to soak off. So yeah, so just squirting some acetone right there and then popping that baby back on to get that remainder gel off of the nail. So I'm going to speed through some of this for you so it's not too long, and since we are doing this part with a voiceover, that way we can kind of get through the video, because like I said, it is a long one. But I really wanted to share all of this with you guys, give you a good bit of information, and hopefully you find some really helpful stuff within this video. Okay, so here we have some mandrels. This is your base for your sanding band. And even though this little bit right here is all rainbow chromy and gorgeous, it is so hard to get the sanding band back off of it. So I would suggest finding some mandrels that are like this. They make it super easy to pull the sanding band back off of once you've put it on, but they do hold it on there tight so it doesn't like slip around. And it really makes your life so much easier. I'll put a link in the description box for you guys. I get this off of Amazon. They're fantastic. And just like your file, your hand file, make sure you score your sanding band at that tip as well, so you don't cut yourself or your client. I'm going to show you that right here. So I just take and I turn it on probably to about 15, 20 RPMs. And then I just run it across the file right there to make sure that the top part isn't super sharp. Just like the files, these kind of are a little bit sharp on the edge as well. This right here is a crosscut bit. This is kind of like a sanding band, but it's reusable. It's a diamond bit. So you can use this instead of a sanding band if you prefer. I tend not to reach for it too much. I don't know. I don't love it. I kind of prefer my sanding bands. I feel like, I don't know, just for me, they're a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to push back all of my skin around my nails, my proximal nail fold here, to expose the cuticle. So we're not pushing back our cuticle. The cuticle is the dry, sticky tissue that is stuck to our nail plate. So we're just pushing back the skin that is around it. We're going to expose as much nail as we can, and then take the sanding band and very lightly go over your natural nail. This is what you would do for like a fill-in where your regrowth is, and then you can use that to kind of tickle off any little bits of product that might be left on the nail. I'm going to just demo this one nail for you while the other ones are still soaking off. So this bit right here is, it's called a bunch of different things, but it's mainly a cuticle bit. It's a diamond bit, so good for the natural nail. This one in particular is from Erica's ETA. I'm not sure. I'll link it below as well. But they do have a few really nice ones on Amazon as well for these little cuticle bits. And I really like doing this step. Prep is so important, guys, when you're prepping your nails for any kind of enhancement. So I really like doing this because it really gets up in that little area that's hard to reach with the sanding band. And you can get all of that cuticle off of your nail plate. It makes it look so much cleaner. And of course, you know, not having any of that tissue on there is going to make sure that your enhancement sticks down well and you don't have lifting. So I go in the forward direction and I go to, okay, so it's my left. And then once I've done that, I flip my e-file into reverse and then I go the other way to get the other side. And then just dust that off and make sure it looks good. And then your nail should look, you know, etched and dry. And that is the perfect prep for your nail. You can then go in and shape up your free edge any way you see fit. I'm going to keep mine kind of like a round shape, an oval, more of an oval. And you can do all of your prep work with your hand file instead of using your e-file with your sanding band. I still would definitely go in with that Cuticle Bit, but you can do all the sanding band stuff with your hand file. And you know, if you're a little uncomfortable with an e-file or you don't have an e-file, everything that you do with your e-file can also be done with a hand file. Okay, so once everything is soaked off and buffed over and prepped, I'm just going to take my Cuticle Nippers from Twinkled T. These are really, really nice nippers. The link is also in the description box for Twinkled T if you want to check that out. And then I'm just taking care of any little bits of dry, dead skin that are just in the way or they look really, really bad. You don't see how that's kind of dry right there. You don't want to remove too much skin. You're just going to make the fingers sore. So you really only want to remove like what you have to. Now I get a little bit more aggressive on myself than I do my clients. But you don't have to remove every little bit of skin that's around the nails. You want to be really careful that you're not making your client's fingers sore and removing anything excessive or unnecessary. Just the little dry bits. Like what I'm doing on mine, I wouldn't do on most clients. I would leave it unless it was sticking up or in the way. So like I said, I get a little bit more excessive on myself than I do my clients. But you see these little pieces right here on my thumb, they're kind of sticking up. I just want to take those off just so it looks a little nicer. Okay, once that's all done, I put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on my nail brush, and I'm just thoroughly removing all of the dust. After your nails are properly prepped, you must remove all of the dust, or it's all for naught. That dust will make everything you put down lift. All right, now I'm taking the Young Nails Manicure Fiber Gel and their Protein Bond. This Protein Bond is liquid gold. I love it. It makes a great bonding agent for acrylics, for gels, for gel polish. It's really good stuff. Highly recommend. Young Nails makes some really good products. Their acrylic's good as well. I don't really do acrylic anymore. I used to, but I don't really anymore. So I'm going to put the bonder on my nails. It acts like a double-sided sticky tape. This is not, it's not an acid-based primer. And really, I don't know if I would call it a primer at all, because you got primers and bonders and all of that, all kinds of different stuff. This is more like a bonder than a primer. So what it does is it air dries and it acts like a double-sided sticky tape to help your enhancement or your gel polish or anything like that really stick onto the nail. And I find it works fantastic. When you're using Protein Bond, keep in mind, if you're doing like a gel polish manicure, when you're using your Protein Bond, it's going to make it a lot harder to soak off that gel polish, which is great. You know, that's what you want. You want it to last, but do keep that in mind that it does make removal difficult. So if you are planning on just wearing your manicure for a couple weeks or even just a week, I would take the Protein Bond and just hit at the free edge of the nail, just the little tips there, and not go all over the entire nail. That'll make the removal process a lot easier. Just a little tip for you guys. So one of the reasons I don't like this kind of system in a polish bottle like this is the brush. It's kind of hard to work with. It is a thicker gel, and it makes it a little bit harder to work with. I have small fingers, so it's kind of hard to not goop it on there. I really prefer using like a potted gel, so I can use my brush and I can pick up exactly the amount that I want. That's just personal preference as well. A lot of people love builder in a bottle and stuff like that. Really, it's not for me. It's not my favorite way to use gel, but it does work. And then another reason is you can't really see when it's empty. So I want to know when it's running out. But okay, so I am just taking a very thin base coat of this, and I am just like scrubbing that kind of into the nail. And then I'm going to cure that. You want to do this first layer thin and then go ahead and give it a cure. And then you're going to start building up on your next layer, and then we'll do one finger at a time. So with this, I do all 5 nails, and then into the lamp it goes, and then the next step is 1 nail at a time. You can see a little better here on my thumb than the other fingers. I try to stay in frame and make sure the camera is focused for you guys. Sometimes it's a little harder on the other fingers, but the thumb usually works pretty good. Makes a good demo doing it on the thumb. So nice and even, make sure it is not on your skin anywhere. Give it just a second to self-level. Check the other nails you already did, make sure it doesn't run, and pop that in the light for a cure. Okay, so I'm gonna show you here on my thumb what we do next. So this has been cured in the light. I believe it was 60 seconds. It's whatever the instructions say on the back of the bottle. And now we're going to do like another thin layer, just like we did that first one. This is going to be our slip layer. It's also called a wetting layer, whatever you want to call it. This is going to help the gel flow into place when we get our big dollop. That way it all self-levels beautifully. And this is a fantastic product. I do love how it levels, and it makes such a pretty nail. So now I'm going in and trying to get a bigger dollop. Again, a little harder with the brush in the bottle, but we make it work. Trying to get that bead kind of off of the brush onto the nail. And then you're gonna kind of just like pillow it up towards the cuticle. You wanna start back a little bit ways from the cuticle. You don't wanna start right at the cuticle, because like I said, you don't want to flood it. And then you just kind of work it down the nail. Work it into place, make sure it's not on the skin. And then you can take a little tiny detailer brush like this, which really helps with smaller nails to make sure that that gel is exactly where you want it. Get those sidewalls nice and tight. And you can see, like, we don't have a huge apex on this nail, but we're gonna flip our finger over and let gravity work for us and kind of pull that product towards the center a little bit more. We're still kind of a little far at the back. So like with a short nail like this, you don't have to build a huge apex like you do on longer nails. In fact, a thin like base layer of this would be fine. It just depends on the kind of thickness you need for your nail. My nails are pretty weak without something on them, so I like to build it up just a little bit, but it doesn't have to be super thick. And with a nail this short, you don't have to build a crazy apex. Really, just with this, you kind of just do the look that you like. I'm chasing out an air bubble right here with my little tiny brush. But you just like, if you want a higher apex, build a higher apex. If you don't, you don't have to, is what I'm trying to say. So like, but with a longer nail, you absolutely have to have that apex for the strength. With this, I'm just trying to put some kind of an overlay on my nail so it's strong enough not to, you know, break the free edge off. Hopefully all that makes sense. And then I cured that in the light for 60 seconds. And you can go in with another layer at this point if you want and build it up more. That's totally personal preference. This for me is absolutely perfect. I'm not even going to file it. I love how it looks, and that's going to give me enough strength after I add my gel polish and design to last me 3+ weeks. Okay, so all of the nails have been filled in, overlaid, and there is a little tiny like burr on the edge of my middle finger there, and that can be taken care of after the polish. So I'm not gonna take the sticky layer off. I'm going to go straight in with my gel polish. I'm using one of the little bitty babies from the Madam Glam Advent Calendar box. Just a nice little shimmer to add a bit of a background. That keratin gel had a really pretty peachy, nudie sheer base to it, which looked really nice. So just adding a bit of shimmer to it. And then we're gonna go in with some foils. Oh, these foils are from VETTSY. The link is in the description box as well, and I do have a discount code for them if you want to check that out. And I was in love with these little tiny flowers here, so I decided to use them. And I thought with that little hint of a shimmery background, they would be so pretty. I end up using these ones on my other hand, which I don't show you. And then I'm using the Manicure foil gel. It's a great foil gel. You put the foil gel, okay, let me start over. I put the polish on my nails, cured that, 1 coat. You can do 2 if you like. And then I went in with the foil gel and cured that. And then once that comes out, you can go in with your foil. And I'm just taking these amazing tweezers from Glitter Mix Canada. They got this nice rubber end to it. And I'm really rubbing that foil down on my nail well, so all of the flowers transfer. I've got quite a mess of foils laying on my desk right now. Ignore that. So you want to really make sure you get in those sidewall areas and get that to transfer. And look at how cute. So adorable. Really love how these turned out. So I got a little piece on this finger here that I did not mean to. So I'm just taking a little bit of acetone and wiping that off. And then we're going to go back in with the foil gel over top of that and put our foils back on. So it just kind of stuck to my finger when I was putting it on the other finger, and you know, wipes right off, easy peasy. And there we go. Now I'm going to top everything off with the Madam Glam No Wipe top coat. Seal it all in. I just love how these turned out. And then there's my other hand as well. I did the one little white foils I showed you with the white flowers, and then I took some bigger flowers and went in over top of that. So with that clear foil, it still transfers even though the flower's only in that one little spot. So if you're going to layer them, you have to put another layer of foil glue gel down as well before you go in with your next flower. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going to take some cuticle oil and finish this manicure off. This is the Young Nails. I love this cuticle oil. I also have a Light Elegance cuticle oil, which is really, really nice. Again, the Madam Glam cuticle oil is really good as well. I don't love the lids on these Madam Glam cuticle oils, but it smells amazing and it's a really good oil. So I'm going to use this Blossom one. It smells like flowers. I got flowers on my nails. Why not have a floral scent as well? And then I like to rub that in all over my hands. Really good. And there we go. What do you guys think of my pretty little floral spring nails? I love how they turned out. After I put my cuticle oil on, I always go in and kind of give it a good wipe with a dry paper towel to shine it up before I take any pictures. And yep, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope I had a lot of helpful information in it for you. Please leave any questions down below and I'll do my very best to get back to everyone. And all the links for everything will be in the description box as well. Again, please feel free to subscribe, and I super appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. So have a great day. I will see you in my next one. Bye.